bestseller or get a book deal. And those two things aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. I told you I don't care about being a bestseller, but there's a nuance to that. There's a caveat to that you'll hear in this quick training that I did. Do you want to write a bestseller? Do you want to write your book, have it be a bestseller, or do you want a book deal? So this first thing that you'll hear is some training that I did on getting a book deal. Very good stuff for those of you who are wanting a book deal. And then after that training, and all of this is very short, by the way, you'll also hear me talking about how to self-publish a bestseller and sell books by the truckload, by the SUV load. All right, so have a listen. How do I get a big book deal? This is a question that a lot of authors, speakers, coaches, experts have once they've gotten some success in the marketplace, or if you just know you want to write a book and you don't want to go the self-publishing route, then how do you get a book deal? Getting a book deal used to be much easier than it is today. And it was much easier. Publishers were literally just kind of giving away money. Not gonna lie to you, maybe 20, 25 years ago, if you had a book idea, you had a relatively large audience, and I'm talking, 4,000 or 5,000 people knew who you were and would buy your book, you could get a book deal. Not so now. The reason that book deals are not as prevalent as they were 20, 25 years ago is because of the internet. It's because of digital publishing and because of the internet. Back in the day, if you were a celebrity, meaning you were a movie star, television personality or something like that, people deemed you as a celebrity, and therefore they figured you deserved a 6, 7, 8-figure book deal. These days, people are becoming celebrities by being YouTube stars, social media stars, internet stars. Because they have these huge followings, they get the big book deals. So if you want to know how to get a book deal, number one, you have to have a platform. That means you have to have a TV show, even if it's an online TV show, a podcast. You have if you want to do a medical book, maybe you have a medical practice. You do the medical practice to the stars. Maybe you are an athlete and people know who you are because you do a tip every Monday and you have 6 million Twitter followers. Okay, that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about a platform. Getting a book deal requires not only a platform, but you also have to write a book proposal. And the book proposal is nothing more than a sales proposal. It's showing the publisher how you're going to sell books. Back in the day, again, you could write a book proposal and they could talk about how many lives you're going to change and how wonderful it is and how much you're going to transform people's families and their relationships. And that was enough. Today, you got to talk about how much you're going to be promoting your book, how many people are going to buy it, how many social media fans you have. It's a totally different world. I'm not saying you can't get a book deal. I'm saying you need to really build your platform, build your following online and offline in order to convince a publisher today in the 21st century that you can move some books. That's how you get it done. All right, but wait, let's say you don't want a book deal. Yeah, how about that? Let's say you don't even care about a book deal. Remember when I said I didn't care about being a bestseller? I don't care about being a bestseller because it's not about being on the New York Times list. It's not about being on USA Today's list or the Washington Post or Journal or whatever is still in existence. It's about selling books. It's about getting books into the hands of the people who are going to be transformed by your genius. So let's say you don't want a book deal. Let's say you want to self-publish, which I highly recommend unless you are one of those people I described in the presentation earlier. Unless you are an A-list or B-list or B-minus list celebrity with millions of fans, or you already have a way to sell hundreds of thousands of books, you just need to self-publish. And I'm going to share with you how you can publish your own book and publish lots of books, honestly, and build a publishing juggernaut in less time than you think you can and keep most of the money. So I'm going to be doing a 4-week masterclass called Write, Market, Sell Your Book. Very quickly, this is what's going to be in the class. Week 1, I'm going to basically ask you this question. Should you even write a book? The process that I take clients through with figuring out if they should even write a book, it's powerful. Because what most people do is they go write a book and then they don't have anybody to sell it to. So the main question you need to answer is, should I even write a book? right? And I'm going to take you through that process of figuring out if a book is actually what you should write. You're also going to talk about finding your voice. Most importantly, your audience. You don't need thousands of books in your garage without an audience. So week 1 is critical to your success. Week 2, what should you write? That's what it's about. Okay, so maybe you think you should write one thing, but what we found out in week 1 was that your audience, the people who are listening to you, paying attention to you, the people you're going to magnetize, actually need something else. So week 2, we go through what you should write, literally. Should it be a handbook? Should it be a journal? Should it be a 20-page ebook? What should you write? Critical week. Week 3, how and where to market it. Should you market it from your website? Should you do Amazon? Should you do events? Should you go and realize that you actually should get a traditional publisher like I talked about earlier in the presentation? Week 3 is the how and the where to market your book. And then week 4, it's my best-selling, unbestseller, right? I do have a best-selling book. I have a couple of best-selling books, but I wasn't trying to be a bestseller. I was with one of them. I was trying to be a bestseller with the Amazon best-selling method. You guys have probably heard this. I mean, literally, I did this in 2000, I think 4 or 5. So it's been a long time. I started doing the Amazon bestseller thing when we first started doing the Amazon bestseller thing, which is a long time ago. And I got up to number 4 on Amazon. But, that was fun. But the reality is I've sold more books by not trying to become a best-selling author. And I'll share that with you in week 4. So week 4 is also about the execution of your book, writing, editing, printing, publishing process. I'll show you how to write your book without actually writing it if you don't want to, where to get great editors, the printers that we use for our books if you even decide to do that, or if you decide to do on demand. And on demand just means that you write the book, you get it edited, but you never see the book until it's printed and published through a third-party company. So for instance, Amazon has its own third-party printing company. So people, when they buy your book, they buy it through them, and then you get a percentage. Again, I'm going to reveal why none of that matters. You're not going to make most of your money on your books from your books, right? You're going to make it through coaching and consulting and training and selling your books by the SUV. And what that means is selling your books, so many books. You're not selling them one-to-one. You're selling them 30,000 at a time, or 3,000 at a time, or 500 at a time. That's what week 4 is about. All about the sales process, getting it done through the publishing process, but then selling it in multiples, not in singles. All right. And the best thing is, here's my class guarantee. When you're done with my masterclass, you will have a book. You will have a proven marketing plan. You have a proven sales roadmap. You have my exact blueprint for selling 1,000 to 10,000 books at a time. I'm literally going to hand that to you. And then you'll also have access to me and my team in a private Facebook group for Q&A. Okay, so if you are ready to get that book done, doesn't matter if it's fiction or nonfiction, it doesn't matter, similar process, then all you need to do now is click the button that you see in the comments and register now, and I will see you in class.